welcome to CJC Adventures. Carl here, and today I've come to the Pensnett area of Dudley here in the Black Country in the English West Midlands, in jolly old England of course. And I've come to Buckpool and Fens Pool local nature reserve. Now, it's not always been a nature reserve. It was created as a nature reserve in 1993. And before that, it had a lot of history attached to it, industrial history, and even before the industry, there was some more history. And we're going to take a look at that today and discuss it and show you what it looks like today. So let's have a look here at Buckpool and Fens Pool Local Nature Reserve. Let's go and see what we can see. And now come to part of the Buckpool. And if you look at the water, it's like, shall we say, cloudy or a little bit murky. And this was actually part of Pensnett Chase at one point, and it was hunting ground for the barons of Dudley, so you can imagine how many years that goes back to. And you think about what certain areas have seen and what's happened here. Now you could just imagine the barons of Dudley coming over this land and doing a bit of hunting, and because of course Dudley, wherever you look in Dudley, it's very medieval, whether it looks like it or not in certain places, and it goes back a long time, many years. I have got quite a bit of flooding there from the Buckpool. I've not had any rain recently, so it just makes you think where that water's come from really. I suppose it's like boggy and it's all grassland really. Now when this was a chase, it was gradually turned into industrial use, and it was part of the Earl of Dudley's private railways which ran across the area, and it mainly included coal mining, clay extraction and brickworks, and the collieries and clay pits. And it was very busy in this area, a lot more than it looks like today. Now this is actually the Fens Pool, and it's the largest of the pools, and of course this is an area of Dudley that has the most water to be seen. Now this would have actually been a clay pit like the rest of the water that you can see, and they were gradually flooded when all the industrial use became out of service, and when everything closed down, and they turned this into what it is now, and the grasslands popped up, and of course it encouraged nature to come here. And yeah, it's quite beautiful actually. It's quite a large area of water for Dudley. If you look at the actual ground itself, you can just see there, that is actually clay. So obviously it's all still there. It always will be, even though it's been turned into a nature reserve. And all of this would have been a busy area, a really busy area as I mentioned before. And you could just take a look there, you can just see the clay, and these trees would have gradually popped up over the years. Over time, I mean, it was actual waste ground, all of this area. It actually had a big makeover, shall we say, in 1993, and it gave it a new lease of life, which I think's nice when you had a lot of mess and destruction to the land, and it's given back to the land after that, isn't it? It's all given back to nature. And you've got a large part, a hill, and just off the hill you do actually have to be very careful here, because just here there's more water and more flooding. So these would have been the original clay pits for industrial use. And if we just head up here, there's another part of Buckpool's pond or pool. suppose it's a pond. I suppose in there you get lots of frogs and things like that. So yeah, plenty of birds, plenty of nature, and plenty of growth as the spring's coming in now. But this was one of the ponds, and this would have been one of the Earl of Dudley's clay pits, and he was a very hard-working man, I suppose, very rich man for the time, and he'll always be known, won't he, the Earl of Dudley, for his industrial revolution ideas, shall we say. And if you look at that, as I mentioned before, you can see all that clay still in there. And look at the water, that's actually really murky, and that's because of the clay under the ground and the use that it once had here. And just opposite that pond you've got another one just here. It's well, not so big, but they seem like they're dotted around here. There's large ones, small ones. You can imagine all the what they used to get out of these at one point. Yeah, but it didn't look like this. I bet it was just all, you know, strange to look at compared to what it looks like today. It's actually quite a nice view from up here. And you can see just over there in the middle, that's the Merrill shopping centre. And the waterfront, which is going to be having a makeover apparently at some point. But yeah, if you look all round, you've got the Service Steel factory over there. Still industrial use around here, not much, but there is still some around. Now if this was hunting ground for the Barons of Dudley, which of course it was, the history books does say that, I wonder what they used to hunt, because I've not really seen anything on here worth hunting. You can hear birds and different things, but maybe it was foxes, because back in those days, of course it's not done so widely now, but there was actually fox hunting. So yeah, maybe it was foxes. And this is actually, I think, the community centre. It's only a small building, but apparently it's well used, what I've heard. So they do all sorts of different things here. Very old building by the looks of it. Actually got a sign there, the Dell. I believe that's the Dell Stadium. Never been to it, but I see it signposted all around Broyle Hill and around Merry Hill. You got a bench here. It's been there some time actually. Named after Alan Perry, 1930 to 1995. I remember 1995, it was a good year. You're at school, you're enjoying things, and you got your mates. How times changed, don't they, in the world? And of course you can see a bit more extraction from the ground there, where the coal was dug out. Again, this is the Fens Pool. It's very windy today when you come up high anyway. Plenty ducks and seagulls. You can actually see the ground where it actually seems darker down this area, and that was probably because of the coal extraction. I suppose it took a while before nature did actually take its course to recapture this land. There's another pool. It's quite a large area actually, this It's actually larger than it looks. If you actually look on a map or on Google Maps, it looks massive. I imagine some of these older trees was here when the Earl of Dudley was doing his thing. If you actually look across the pools, this is the Fens Pool, back to there. You can see on the edges, they do actually look like them beaches. I suppose they are classed as beaches, I imagine, but yeah, it's not like being by the sea, but you get the idea. Now, if you actually come to Dudley, be very aware that Dudley is one of those places in England that is very hilly, and yeah, this is one of those places. I'm now in a dip, or a cutout, some might say, and this would have been one of those areas what would have been used for extraction of coal and other materials from the ground. And as you can see, there's some water running there. It's quite boggy, and I think the coal actually makes it like that. If you actually look just down here, you can see where the pool is, and of course underneath there would still be clay, because these are actually clay pits what had been used to extract clay from. And all of this, it's just cut out really. This would have just been an hill, so let your imagination run a little bit. And another part of the pool, and this would actually be quite deep, I imagine, because of the amount of clay what was extracted all from this area. So I imagine all of that would have been hard work for someone within this area. And nowadays you can just hear the birds. I've actually just seen an heron fly away, so there must be a few fish in here. He's probably after his dinner. Yeah, it does actually look quite deep just there. You know, all the birds out there right in the middle, and they enjoy it, so that's all that matters really. Just gotta head back up that hill. Why is Dudley uphill? Who knows? Now, an interesting fact about this area. Now, the Fens Pool actually had the railway running near by it, and just off the railway was a Round Oak Steelworks. Now, all the waste from the Round Oak Steelworks would have been dumped just in here, and this was obviously before it was turned into a nature reserve and brought to life and given back to, you know, the world really, and given back to people and let nature reclaim it. But when the railway, as I mentioned, run across here, it was actually used quite a lot by the Round Oak Steelworks, and a lot of that waste, which would have been very industrial waste, would have been dumped in here. And it's just nice that it's actually been reclaimed and turned back to the way it is now. And of course, Round Oak Steelworks will always be remembered for being a very industrialised and massive workplace, but this would have been used by them at the time. That's another part of the pool. You can see that part in the middle, what's just popping up. Now that, I think they use that mainly for when birds want to nest, or maybe they just gather round and enjoy themselves. And I'm mostly seeing seagulls here today. And saying it's a nature reserve, I've seen one or two dog walkers, but nothing really to say it's a very well attended nature reserve. Maybe it's just one of those days, I don't know. Now I'm going to take a look at a link to Buckpool and Fens Pool and sort of pay a tribute, quite literally, here in Brierley Hill. Now this is a tribute to Round Oak Steelworks. It's a lovely tribute, and this is what workers would have faced in the day of working somewhere as industrialised as Round Oak. Beautiful tribute, as you can see there, black by day, red by night. Remembering Round Oak. Beautiful tribute. Now this is Dreams, the bed specialist, the Dream store. If you look to the left off the main road, there's this. Now it has been documented what this could be. No one really knows. I don't know if they know now, but I've not heard anything. It's a structure what is on the grass verge outside a Dreams bed store in Brierley Hill. Not quite sure what it's for. Is it some sort of shaft, as they haven't moved it? Can they move it? Probably not. Strange. On the way back, I've made my way to Skull Island. No, just joking. Or maybe Jurassic Park. Feels that way, doesn't it? They look real, don't they? They really do. And that's it for today on CJC Adventures. Thank you for watching, really do appreciate it. It's been a nice little day, a bit cold but staying dry. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. Click on the subscribe icon and the bell to be notified when each video is uploaded, and please share the video, and please feel free to leave a comment and I will reply back to each and every one. Until next time, look after yourselves and each other, and goodbye for now.